Nikki. Yes. Okay, so today we wanted to actually tap in. Hey, hi, Chewy. How do we face? How do we feel? It's been more than a month now.
Almost a month and a half.
Yes.
Almost 6 weeks.
So, I'm gonna share my personal experience, and everyone is welcome to actually share your feeling here. There is no filter and everything. What do you want, Chewy? Come say hi to everyone. Hello.
Oh, I think that's key in surviving this and thriving is having a dog.
It actually does help me a lot. Oh, your friend Lotus is here.
Hi, Lotus.
The main reason I want to invite Nikki to this talk because she is actually a mindset coach. I think the mind actually play a very big role here in this up and down emotional. I personally felt it really only hit me last week because I get beginning at the phase 1 and phase 2, we all put on like a surviving mood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
We just we do what we can. I still got work to do. Like, I just buy enough food to cook, But then after a month, my mind started to like off balance. Yeah. So I started to like hard to focus. I need 2 coffee to survive. I usually just do 1 in the morning. I'm like, what is going on? And I've been eating a lot of junk food. Like I'm just craving for like very salty food. And then obviously my belly doesn't feel good, you know. So yeah, I just want to share my experience. Like a lot of people are now really, the emotional started to come out after a month last. You know, it's real that I don't know what is the future. Like basically, like the fear in the subconscious mind is there, but you think you're okay, but I'm not okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're actually like right on time. So I hope that is a welcoming sentiment because in the beginning, it's like survival mode, like you said. So we go into this thinking, great, we got this. We have our armor on, we have our swords up, we're at the ready. Maybe we have families to take care of. We definitely want to make sure we're in our own power. We don't want the fear to break us down. So we put on that armor and it's great for a while. But these circumstances are unlike anything else we've ever experienced. And they're like pretty much jacked up on adrenaline because this isn't something that we're normally faced with. So essentially, after so much time being at home and being with maybe just yourself or the same people over and over, the same circumstances, the same routine, the same environment, there's really nowhere to distract yourself. There's nowhere for you to hide. And it's like so apparent that there is nowhere for you to hide. So when we're outside, we have all these distractions and ways to kind of take our mind away from the focus. So honestly, this is an amazing time to learn about ourselves. Now, this is a journey that I've been on for years, doing this internal work by myself intentionally. But we've all been given the gift to do this in the comfort of our own homes, and everyone's doing it together. So it does get to a point where, you know, we as humans we're not meant to be inside all the time. We're not meant to be isolated from one another. So eventually that armor is broken down. It's absolutely natural. It's interesting that yours was last week. We talked a little bit about it, and mine was the middle to end of last week. And the last couple of days have been a struggle. I didn't think it would happen to me. I have to be honest. I do this naturally. I come to my house and I isolate a little bit naturally for self-care and self-preservation and to reset and regenerate. And I've been holding space for a lot of people, whether they're clients or students or friends or myself or family members. And I just thought I was like, I've got this, but I'm just like everybody else, absolutely positively. And any facilitator, coach, leader out there who says that they're not like everyone else isn't being truthful, because it's like we're holding space, but we're feeling this also. And that is the biggest thing, is to let yourself feel this, because otherwise you're blocking the energy and the emotions from moving, and that can show up in your body. So for me, the last week has been a little alarming, like I said, because I didn't expect it, and I want to be able to hold this space for other people. But I've welcomed it also because it's allowing me to connect more to the rest of the world who doesn't know how to handle this, and I'm able to really feel them from the inside. And it showed me how much we're all on the same page in varying degrees of, like, you know, economic stability and financial stability and family life and food, of course. But as far as emotions and the way we're wired, anyone from, you know, any walk of life is feeling the same emotions. So that's totally normal. You're right on target, Ethel.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I just feel it's not, oh dear, you lost me?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, there you are.
Because I check in with the Dharma team, we work every day, and everyone felt it, you know, so unproductive and having this migraine and low energy. And so that's why everyone here that who just joined, or we are here to actually share what's going on, you know, like our emotionally wise, and we finally felt it. And please ask questions and for Nikki to answer you. So then right now we want to actually chat. So give us a little bit of a background of yourself, and so that people know, like, how to take advice from you and stuff.
Yeah. So I have been traveling in Southeast Asia for a little over 3 years now. So I feel like this part of the world is very much my home. Travel has given me so much life experience in such a very short period of time, because I'm with myself 24/7, and I really have the opportunity to dig deep and go within. So I've been through a lot of things, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, a lot of experiences that have given me the knowledge and the tools that I use to help my clients and just people in general, because I've been through a lot of this. I come from a background of high education. I was a undergraduate, and I have a master's in business. I was in medical equipment sales, and was kind of on that track to go to climb the corporate ladder and be a CEO with a corner office one day. That was my goal, essentially. And a little over 7 years ago, I quit and moved to the Dominican Republic. And so I started this process of, like, totally turning my life upside down about 7.5 years ago. It was certainly a little bit slower than what we're experiencing now, but I feel like it was really all these things that I've been doing have been preparing me for this time, because what we're experiencing is a total upside down turn of everything that we're used to. So having, like, walked that path on my own by choice, and pretty much entering into all the painful and uncomfortable situations, have given me the ability to rely on myself, to navigate, and to not rely externally for anything. And that is one thing I'll talk about a little bit later, as far as, like, what's next, and the tools that you have now to help you thrive. Because when we look externally for something, then that disappears, then what's left? So I removed all the external comforts myself by leaving my country, by quitting my job, by getting rid of my apartment, by selling most of my things. And slowly but surely, I took the path of, let's call it the wounded healer, And I wounded myself and learned how to heal myself so I can pass that knowledge to others. So whether it be like severe digestive issues, which is how I know about the belly work that I do, or awful anxiety and like a minor depression or isolation from everything, the spinning mind, the tiger mind, the monkey mind, the inability to eat, all these things, not being able to make clear decisions. Like the extremes of all of these experiences have allowed me to be in a space of thriving right now, because I've gathered all these tools and put them into action. So yes, that's why for me, like, I feel like for the most part during this time I've been thriving, but I'm human too, and it does come down to that at the end of the day. So for me, I offer an extension of myself to everyone that I work with, and I love the people that I track because they're people who are on a similar path to me, people who kind of feel like there's something more. They don't really feel like they have control of their life, and I really love to ignite that fire in people and catalyze their journey so they become the leaders of their own life, because we all deserve that. We just don't know that we do, and we don't know how. So really showing people that they deserve it, that it can be done, and like what tools to use and how to set that up for themselves. Basically training them how to lead themselves and then setting them free into the world is what I do, essentially.
Okay, so I know you have, because of all this emotional that trap in the belly that causes a lot of, like what you mentioned, in digestive issues, gut issues, and in the yogic terms, because we take on prana and apana, they actually meet at your belly, your navel point. That's trap a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to maybe like tell people how is it work in the Western way, like the mind and the belly.
How does it all?
Expert.
So pretty much it's a very simple understanding. Let me start with this. The mind and the belly are totally connected, and they cannot be separated. That is a fact. Physically, literally, that is a fact. Emotionally, it is as well, but unfortunately, we put up blockages and barriers to prevent clear communication between the two. They are still communicating, but we've provided this amazing resistance out of fear and anything else that we've been fed by society telling us that we need to be thinking like knowledge is power. But knowledge isn't power unless it's put into action. And to put anything into action, you have to be present in your body. You have to be connected to your body. So somebody had a question you had sent me earlier about what is one way right now when you're feeling super triggered to move out of that. And essentially, it's not about moving out of the trigger. It's about connecting to the emotion and feeling it. So when we feel any kind of emotion, it shows up in the body. Now, we all feel it a little bit differently because we're all unique individuals, but different organs and different parts of the body hold these different energies. So for example, if you feel fear, it goes into the main organ it goes into is the kidney. It also kind of goes into the bladder, a little bit the gallbladder and liver, but mostly it goes into the kidney. So anytime you feel fear and you push it down, or someone else has had that fear emotion and like given it to you, that will show up in your kidney. Now, if this isn't expressed, if you pretend you're not afraid and you just stay strong and you're not vulnerable and you don't let yourself feel it, it will stay stuck. And if that continues to happen over and over and over again over time, it's essentially just building these layers. And you can imagine it's like it's like a solid foundation. It's like cement. You pour a little layer of cement and then another layer, and it just builds up this really thick blockage, and it can turn into an actual physical discomfort. And at a very extreme, it can turn into disease. So whether that's like kidney stones or kidney disease or something like this, then it becomes a serious problem. So the work that I do, whether it's the actual body work or the mind, is just to bring that connection back and to help people to start recognizing that they have emotions, to actually start like acknowledging that you are an emotional being and we all have them and it's okay to feel them, and B, to allow them to come. So when they come, you're not just like, okay, I feel emotions, I don't want to, and push them away. You're letting them come in, and then see, once they've come in, okay, where is this showing up in my body? So for me, like if I'm starting to really worry about something, oftentimes your mind isn't going to trigger you and say you're worrying, because your mind likes to worry because it's what your mind does to keep you safe. It stays in that loop to keep you thinking, to keep you worrying, to keep you safe. But the body is like, too much. Like I can't be in that state of worry all the time. So the body sends the signal, and mine shows up in my stomach. And it's almost like a tornado. It's like a churning tornado, awful acid feeling. And as soon as I feel it now, I'm like, oh no, I'm thinking too much. I'm worrying about something. And so I stop immediately. Go ahead.
So myself, when I notice is sometimes you suppress it, I notice. It's the subconscious mind, we are running on that night, the subconscious mind. So my mind was telling, I'm okay, you, and then actually you're not okay. And then and then the symptoms shows, like, for instance, like, I've been eating so on time, like the food always available at home, but like I have my gastric come back. Can you imagine? Like I'm busy working, I didn't skip meals, and like it's just, I don't know, like on my left kidney I can feel like, the stress level and stuff. So yeah, it's really the mind, isn't it?
It truly is, because the mind is it's a habit machine, right? So the mind is not really our enemy, but it can work for us or it can work against us, and we want to get it to work for us. So it's working against us when it's running automatically in the background. So like you were saying, like the mind will just keep doing what it's doing forever, and that's because it's a habit machine, and it stays in one habit as long as it possibly can, because its goal is to keep you safe, to repeat habits that make you feel comfortable, even if these are unhealthy habits. So if you started doing something when it was unhealthy, but you kept doing it over and over again, eventually that became comfortable. The mind goes, oh, this is totally fine. Like I'm totally okay with this. Like worrying, I like to worry. We've been worrying for 10 years. Like this is comfortable, and your body's like, I'm dying. Like I'm so stressed out. Like your heart rate's irregular. You're constipated because the worry is so severe, but the mind's like, no. We like this. This has been 10 years. Don't change this. Don't change this. The mind's like, don't change this. I'm comfortable with it. So the mind will never let you change it unless you tell it to change. And you won't know to tell it unless you connect it to your body. That's the best and easiest way for us as humans, is to connect to our body first. Now once you get to another level where you're really tapped in spiritually, you can use, metaphysics, but to tap into your body. And this is the best thing, is to learn what different symptoms in your body are telling you. And you can do that by just stopping and paying attention, and listening and feeling. Now, that can be difficult for some people, for sure. So this is why I always say, then get a coach or get a facilitator, get someone to support you. I have a coach. I offer this to people. It's very important to be able to have someone to reflect this to you as well, because you can get stuck in that loop of like, well, what is it? What's going on? I can't figure it out. And then it goes and it continues. And that's also detrimental too.
Okay, we have someone to ask about the spleen. We will come into the spleen in a bit. All right. So, yes, the roller coaster again. So, how So to understand the mind play a very big role. So what can we do to shift and change that mindset, to actually calm that emotional? So can you tap onto, like, I like how you share about like words trigger us,
Mm-hmm.
like, the word stuck, your body felt it, and can you
Yes.
tap that a little bit?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to boost myself up, but I like to sit on the floor, but then it gets a little hard. So the very first thing that I would recommend when you're feeling like on a roller coaster, or your mind is chaotic, or you're anxious, or it's just anything is too much, is to literally totally stop what you're doing and just be with yourself. If you're comfortable putting your hand on your heart or your hand on your belly, do that. If not, put your hands on your legs or just cross your arms, but like start to feel your physical body, maybe hands on hips. Just put your hands somewhere and ground into your body. Because if you ignore the fact that something's going on up here, this will run forever. So to stop it, you just connect to yourself. Maybe put your hand on a shelf or a tree or wherever you are, just connect to something else and totally stop, because you need to break the mind's cycle and circle. Once you do that and you kind of create a little bit of space, thinking about the words that you use are very important, because certain words can trigger us, like you were saying, stuck. So when I think of like, okay, we're stuck at home, the first thing I think is like, oh my God, I'm stuck. Like someone's making me stay here. I'm in prison. I can't leave. My body gets really contracted. My muscles get tense. Even like the organs are starting to close off and come together. And this can cause digestive issues and many other things, tension and stress and anxiety.
Lock.
What's that? Yeah, I know.
But unconsciously, it has effect to us, Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the worst things that I've seen so far is someone said social incarceration. I was like, oh my God, guys, like that's really like the worst term I have heard yet. Really, really bad. So this is what I'm saying about external situations. And this is one of the main things that I teach my students and my clients, is not to rely on anything external to determine how you feel inside. So if you're listening to the media or to a friend or social media or whatever you're reading, or even sometimes your own mind, it can tell you, these things tell you a lot of lies. And the media and social media is, it's pretty much built to target our subconscious mind so we don't realize what's going on, and create certain messages and get certain psychological responses from us. But the way you speak to yourself and what you actually allow yourself to see is under your control. So you can't control what the media puts out. You can't control what people put on social media. You can't control what people say. You can control if you speak to these people. You can control if you're friends with them on social media, you follow them, and you can control if you're watching all this junk that's replaying on the television over and over and over again. And you can control what you say to yourself. So for me, and what I usually say is like, we're being asked to stay at home. And you have to take an extra step to think about that. But that also takes you out of your mind, because you're like, okay, I don't like stuck. I'm going to catch that and change it to, okay, we're being asked to stay at home. Why? Okay, well, there's a virus going around and we don't want to get sick. Well, I'm not afraid of getting sick. Well, I don't want to get anyone else sick. And I also just want to be compliant and just let this pass. And then you just start talking to yourself and explaining why it's happening, and just watching the terms that you use. So you can always choose the words that you use, and you'll start to see how they shift things when you catch them. But that's a practice too. It's not like a lot of these things aren't immediate. That's why I say the first thing to do is stop and hand on heart or touch something, because that's immediate. These other things we'll talk about are a little bit more of a practice. Yeah. And gratitude, I would say, is one of the other things that are, for me, what I do when I wake up anyway. These are practices. Everything I do now is pretty much what I've been doing, but it's just amplified now. It's more important to me now to really stay in a good mindset. But gratitude, every day I wake up and I say what I'm grateful for, whether it's personal, professional, about my business or about friends or family or my physical body. And I always remember every day I say one thing I'm grateful for about being asked to stay at home for this virus. And that doesn't diminish what's happening and people dying and the fear and people going hungry, but it changes that vibration. It changes your energy and the energy that's putting out there, that you're grateful for more time, or grateful for you can see your family when you really don't see them very often, or grateful that you don't have to be standing on your feet at work all day, or whatever it is. Having gratitude for something that this is being done, then you can take a little bit of that control back, instead of saying, well, this happened and now I'm stuck at home, and then you're totally out of control. You say, well, this happened, I'm at home, I'm being asked to stay here, I'm choosing to comply, and it's allowing me to spend more time with my family. Say that to yourself like 30 times a day if you need to. Repeat it over and over.
But that it's softer to your body, that not reacting your body. Yeah, and then I like the gratitude thing in the morning.
Yeah. First thing.
So if you have any question, please ask. Maybe we can answer someone asked the question, what is it like for the spleen? What emotion trigger for the spleen?
So the spleen is less connected to an emotion, but rather it's connected to our life force energy. So the spleen it's about this big, which is kind of not very good for size. So that's about the size of it. It reminds me of like a little sea sponge, and it's located on the left side under the rib cage. But the spleen is a filter, and it works with the blood. So it filters the red blood cells. So it cleans our red blood cells, and it also creates white blood cells. So essentially the spleen is a huge part in making sure our immune system is working optimally, because it's creating those white blood cells, and white blood cells are a very important part of the immune system to fight off viruses and bacteria and foreign objects and toxins in the body. So the spleen is regulating the blood. And in the body, the blood is the physical representation of our life force energy, or our prana, or our chi, depending on the terminology that you use. And our life force energy is basically our essence. It's the depth of our energy. It's what drives us. It's what gives us passion and love and that fierceness and that fire. It connects us to something greater. It is something greater, and it makes us part of that something greater. So the spleen is cleaning that constantly, the physical and energetic representation, and it's also creating it for us as well. So that's very important in keeping the life force energy moving and keeping it clear and keeping our immune systems up. So take care of your spleen, if that's why you're asking. That's an important one. Which also brings me into another thing that's really important too, is moving the energy. So basically, like I have natural supplements. We'll call them supplements, like not actual pills, but things you can supplement naturally to add on to your already existing routine. Having a routine is super important in normal life anyway, but having one now is especially important. Making this your new normal for now. And this is the routine that you have in this moment. So whatever it is you do every day, making sure exercise is a part of that. And not only exercise, but moving the energy, getting up every so often and just like maybe shaking your arms, doing jumping jacks, shaking your hands. The energy that's stuck in the body is usually something that's toxic or emotional. These can be stuck emotions that are energy that just need to be let go. So jumping, dancing, singing, self-massage, just to kind of break that energy up. Breath work is really good as well. that's a really good one too. And someone, I just had a question that popped up. It was pretty long.
Yeah, perhaps there are 3 things that we can do when we are having emotional turbulence roller coaster. Yes.
Yeah. So I will always come back to this. The first thing you can do, and the most important thing, is to stop what you're doing. So if your mind's going, get yourself out of that situation. So if you're sitting down and you're thinking, stand up and walk to another room and just stop what you're doing. Or if you're like walking, whatever it is, immediately change what that is and then stop and connect to yourself. So let's say you're sitting and you're thinking, you're like, oh my God, get up and get out of the chair, walk into another room, stop and put your hand on your heart, look at yourself in the mirror, somehow physically connect to yourself and just stop. Just stop. Also breathing, adding breath to that and just breathing into yourself. So these are things, you're not trying to solve a problem. You're trying to stop the mind from spinning, and you're trying to just be present with whatever it is that's going on. So stopping, connecting, and breathing. And the important thing that I really want to emphasize here is that the goal isn't to get rid of the emotion. It's not to get through it and be done with it. It's to allow it to occur, because these emotions will happen no matter what you do. So if you resist them, it will be painful. And if you don't feel them, they will go into your body and eventually be even more painful because they cause disease. So the idea here is that you want to stop the mind from going by connecting and breathing, and then you want to let yourself feel that emotion. So be in it, like fully go into that emotion. So if you're feeling anxiety, don't resist anxiety, because I think if anyone has anxiety, they'll know I've had it. If you resist it, it gets so much worse. So if you have anxiety, put your hand here, stop and be like, wow, this anxiety, man, and just be in it 150%, and let that ride that wave of that anxiety. Do not resist it, because the mind will fight it and cause this horrible loop. So be with the emotions. I'd say step 1 is get yourself out of the situation, whether it's standing up, walking into another room, just stopping if you're pacing, and hand to heart, hand to belly, connect to the body, breathe, and let yourself feel the emotion. I promise it sounds scary, but whatever the emotions are, let them be present and just feel through them.
I agree with that. Because the past 2 days, I bring out everything, like I need to cook, but I'm not sure what I'm doing. I walk with the fridge like 10 times. I taking things that is not for that dish that I'm supposed to cook. I boil water for the coffee. And I bought it twice.
Yeah.
But I didn't put coffee. I didn't do coffee.
This sounds about right.
Basically, I just, now I know that I can just walk out from trying to cook, you know?
Yeah.
This focus, refocus.
Refocus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so important, because it's so important to know that the mind is it's a habit machine. And no matter what you tell it to do, if you literally said, sit here and think about worrying, okay, it's say, okay, I'll sit here and think about worrying. If you're like, okay, sit here and think about gratitude, it's like, okay, I'll sit here and think about gratitude. It's like, go over there and stab your fingers with a knife. Okay, I'll go stab my fingers with a knife. Like, the mind does what you tell it to do. But if we're not telling it what to do, it will do what it already knows. And what it already knows are old behavior patterns that it is comfortable with. And that is exactly what keeps us doing the same thing over and over again. So just stop it, whatever it is. And I did the same thing today. I was really hungry and like, oh, here we go. Here I'm in the kitchen again. Like, what the hell am I going to make? I made 2 lunches. I just made a bunch of random food, and I looked down. I'm like, I have 2 totally different lunches, because my mind was just like, what the heck, this again? So I put one in the fridge and had it for dinner. So, it's so interesting how we're on the same page.
It's just let it be. Like, I'm meeting it like, it's a big deal, and let it flow. Yeah. So what else can we do when we felt that, or how to deal with that really that is really feeling it in the body, let's say the belly. What is that we can do at that point? Or I don't know, like have some massage for myself or things like that.
Yeah, so if you're feeling it in the body, the best thing I can recommend is to breathe. So these are basic, simple techniques because most people don't have any tools. So I'm not going into, the more like deeper techniques. These are very, very basic. And I know they sound basic, but they're things that like most of us don't even think about doing. Is breathing. So if it's a pain in the body, or if it's super uncomfortable because you stop, you put your hand on your belly and you're like, I am feeling so anxious, breathing, really just breathing into it and breathing it through. It's just like anything. You think about women that are, in labor and giving birth, what are they told to do? They're like, breathe, other than maybe giving them drugs, but you don't want to do that. You really just want to breathe. And now if it becomes too much, then ask for support. So knowing who your support system is. So whether that's a friend or a family member or a coach or a therapist or something like this, right now it's imperative. We're all trying to do this on our own. And I'll be the first to admit, I try to do everything on my own, but I also have a therapist from home that I talk to once every other week. It's just general because we're friends, but we also help we help each other. And I have a coach that I talk to as well. Like I have a development coach I talk to once a week, and an amazing set of core friends that I reach out to. And that's imperative. It's very, very important to have that, because if the mind's on repeat, and it's been on repeat for 10 years for the same thing, we can't see it. So we need someone else to help us see it, to pull us out. So if it gets too bad and we need someone else to pull us out, please reach for support. That is important. Don't feel ashamed. Go ahead.
Someone asked, yeah. So
okay, let me see.
You see it? Yeah.
If someone at home is stressed and just yelled at us without any warning, how do you handle that sudden impact from our people? I'm guessing other people's frustration. Okay, yeah, great. Because it's not just your emotions that get stuck in your body and mess with your mind. It's other people's as well, especially if you're stuck in the same house. So the first thing I would say to do is not react, because that's just going to add to the energy. If they've said that and kind of like walked away, or they're waiting for a reaction, you do the same thing. You take yourself out of the situation. Be like, okay, and walk to another room and remove the energy. So shake your hands, shake your head, jump up and down a little bit, maybe brush your arms off, just like you would clean yourself. So somebody like vomited on you, because this person is essentially vomiting their emotions on you. So if someone actually vomited on you, what would you do? You would be like, ugh, you'd like walk away from them and you'd go clean yourself off first thing, right? So go to another room and clean yourself off, whether that's just brushing it or shaking or breathing and being still, and get yourself into a calm state of mind and let them calm down, and then go and have a conversation. And then at that point, you're just approaching them and saying, this really affected me. It was really scary for me when you did that. It really upset me. I'd like to talk about it, because I'm sure in these situations, especially, they're feeling it just as much, and everyone reacts differently. Some people project their anger on others and they scream at people because they don't feel like they're getting support. So it's you have to think about where that person's coming from as well, but you don't want to add to that or to your own. So just remove yourself from the situation as immediately, and clear that for yourself, and then come back whenever you're in a really like more grounded space. And things are heightened now too, and I understand that as well. So it's not perfect, but this is all practice. It took me years to get to this space. So don't expect, I want to really emphasize this, don't expect like immediate fixes. Quick fixes pretty much don't exist. So don't expect them, because you'll be disappointed every time, but just know that you take that first step to make a change, and really just start connecting to yourself and putting yourself first, and being with yourself. And that is the very first step. And it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, because if you coming from like you have to come from the compassion way. Maybe like exactly that person doesn't have support.
Right.
That's why the action come out without that person unconsciously that doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I know that's hard if it's someone like a husband or a wife or, you know, a father, a mother. I mean, these relationships are very triggering, and it can be very hard. But this is what a great time to practice and heal relationships when you guys are all in the same house together and all these triggers are coming up. I love this kind of stuff. I don't always like it. I don't like when I'm triggered, but I know that it's giving me the opportunity to face something that I've been ignoring, or like a problem between two people, and that if I embrace it and walk through it on the other side, it'll be nice and clear rather than keeping it. So these times are such an opportunity for us to go within ourselves and also heal relationships with others that we're inside with, and really discover each other, ourselves and each other too. So, yeah.
So tell us more about that workshop, because you're so giving. Like, you've been hosting like every Sunday, like a free workshop on Zoom. You know.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I do, it's called Love Your Belly, and I've actually hosted it, I think twice now at Damai. I typically do them in person, usually once or twice a month, but since we went into the movement control, I decided to offer it online for the first time ever, and it's been doing really well. People have been loving it, and it's been a little bit more it's been nice. It's been a consistent thing to have, not only for the people there, but for me as well. And essentially, so part of my work that I do is an abdominal detox massage, and that's 1-to-1, but I expanded and created a workshop for people so that I could help more people and touch more people and connect more people to themselves. And I basically just go through a little description in the beginning, and each week I try to cover a little bit of a different topic about the technique, or just something about the mind-belly connection. And then we do about a 45-minute exploration through the belly. So I take you on a self-guided massage, and you're massaging the different organs, and I'm talking about the emotions that are connected to these organs, and how they feel when they're out of balance, or how to bring them back into balance. So it's really an easy way for you to connect to yourself with a lot of explanation. It's also great for just general relaxation. It's an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm doing this the whole time that we're on this movement control order, Sundays at 8:30, which I'll post the link to register. So you just need to register, and then you'll get the Zoom link. And I recently created a Love Your Belly video that I'm selling. So it's a full-length version of this, but like in a beautiful, like, it's just me, and I'm giving an explanation about it, and you know, it's just my belly, and I'm showing you where everything is, and you know, pacing it so you can see where everything is and the emotions involved and everything. So that's something for people to have, because everyone was like, I want this at home. Like, how do I need a recording? And I'm like, you don't want a recording. Everyone's bellies are out and everything, you know? So it's like, okay, video is needed. So, so I can, actually, I will put, before I forget, my information here. If you guys are interested in signing up for the workshop, or if you want to message me or check out anything that I do, you can go here. And
I hope it answered your question just now. Strain flower. We don't know your name. I hope we answered your question just now, and I hope you find the harmonize with your family. Yeah. Have you put it, Nikki?
Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm just LINKTR.
We are about time's up. I'm not sure, because we restart the video. Maybe we have most probably 5 more minutes. I hope anyone that have more questions that how to deal with your roller coaster emotional, like I asked mine. already. I now have the two. And I joined Nikkis workshop before. I really like it. And so it's basically like I want to do it at home. Like, what is the basic oil that I can start with? Like everyone have like a basic lavender oil, right? How
Yeah.
to like have a fix? Yeah.
Yeah, I say if there's, because I use essential oils, I distribute for Young Living, so I have a variety, but I'd say your basic, and this is for any basic
Yeah.
needs, is lavender, and it's really relaxing as well. So it's really good even just to take a moment and you're stressed out, you can just use the lavender and do a nice little inhale and do a pause that way. But essential oils are a great way, even just rubbing an essential oil or like avocado oil, sesame oil, veggie oil, coconut oil, just rubbing it on your belly and massaging your belly, and just really connecting to that space is a great way to just ease any stress or anything like that, and just jump off that roller coaster. So whether you're more into the body, like that is a great way if you're really like the physical aspect of it as well. But I'm also, I do one-to-one coaching for 3 months. It's like a 3-month program, but I just created a 1-month program that I'm starting next week, and it's a group coaching program. So it's going to be for mindset coaching, and it's just a month. So basically to help people right now to bridge the gap from where we are to where we're going, so people have an easier transition from being in this space of staying at home to like what's coming next, how to create the foundation, and how to step into the space of leading your own life and being less reliant on the external and reliant on only the internal, and all of your choices are what create your life rather than the choices that are made somewhere outside. So I've got 4 spaces left. If anyone's interested, feel free to send me a message or connect, and I'd be happy to chat with you guys about that as well. So yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for your tonight.
Oh, thank you, Ethel. Thanks for...
Check out Nikki personal page and see what she do, and she offer beautiful work. It's a journey for that, and I really thank you for your sharing. Even for my personal growth, I have so much insight just by chatting.
Yeah, and this is exactly it, like just reaching out for support. I mean, Ethel messaged me like 2 days ago, and she's like, hey, I have an idea. And I'm like, I was just thinking about this. I would love to go live and talk to people about this. It's helpful for me too. And this is what I love. I'm like totally obsessed with helping people to become leaders of their own life, because we all deserve it. And it's so stressful when you look outside for anything. So I love helping people to step into this space and to get a better idea of the fact that not only like how to do it, but that it's even possible to do it, and that it is also okay to be on a roller coaster. It's totally okay. It's just about like not like hanging off the back for dear life, being a little bit more in control. So this is like a little, I feel like we were all out at like dinner or something. This is really nice. I enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me, Ethel. I loved it.
Everyone that
thank you guys.
Us, and thank you. I wish you have more clarity now. It's all about the mind. So get yourself out of the unfocused, the moment. I really hope you guys have a nice another. I don't want to scare everyone, so they just announced there's another phase that we are going to delay. And if you need any support, please reach out to Nikki. I seriously, maybe I want to book a private session with her. It's too much going on, seriously. Yeah.
I'm happy to help. And I'll...
I do have my practice, but sometimes that mind, it just keep on, you unconsciously, the worry, the fear,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all need support. I totally I totally believe that the people I go to support also go to other people for support. So it's really imperative, and it's so helpful. And I will say, like you said, you don't want to scare people about this extension. I like to tell people that honestly, they're doing this 2 weeks at a time, because that is we're able to psychologically accept that, rather than saying, okay, we're going to be in the house for 2 months. I have a feeling it's going to go through the end of May. And I've been mentally preparing myself for this for a while. So I'm just not shocked. So better to prepare and then it not happen, and then, okay, then it's less. But it's also going to be a slow release of what's going on. So it's going to be a little bit, hi, Chewy, Natasha. It's not going to be like everything just goes back to normal. It's going to be a whole different world. And I think that's another thing I want a lot of people to, like everyone to know, is that like, we're not just going to like get out of our houses and go back to normal. Like it's like we're going to take off into the tornado, like in the Wizard of Oz, and we're landing in Oz. So being prepared for what's next is almost more important than handling what's happening now, because we're kind of used to that now a little bit more. But like what's next is going to be another phase as well. So not to scare anyone, of course. But what's that?
Like the next time, I think it's good to prepare ourselves to go back to the new normal. Yeah, the whole world's going to look different. I mean, everything is already shifting, the financial landscape, the economic landscape, the mental health, everything, everyone's business, personal relationships. People are separated by countries. I mean, nothing is what it was and it won't be. So there's a lot of preparation, needed. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
thank you, everyone. Have a very good night.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming and stopping by. It was wonderful to chat with everyone. And if you guys need anything or just have a question, please feel free to reach out to me. If you don't catch my info, you can message to Mai and they'll pass it along. But I'm always happy to offer support. Yeah. Thank you, Ethel.
Michelle, I hope we answered questions, and no problem. If you guys want to do any donations for the Mai team, actually, to organize this, it will be nice. You can find the donations info on our IG page. Yeah, so any amount will do. That will keep us really doing, like, organize more things and free classes to serve you guys.
Yeah, we're building our own community. We're supporting each other. I love that.
I really wish we can see each other or something.
I know.
I even to like organize a circle or something like that.
Yeah, we have to get creative.
All right, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys all for joining. You're welcome. Thank you. Mwah. Stay well, stay safe. Stop and breathe. Don't forget.